All right, today we have Dumont Nitro Gold, a new release by Dumont, long awaited, but we finally have it. Is the hype real? Is the value for money there, and is it worth your money? I'm going to say yes, but I'm going to explain a few things. Smelling what it's inspired by, which is a Valentino fragrance. It's not a one-to-one, which I don't care about that. That's not really what I care about. I just care about, does it smell good? And it does, you can tell, hey, this is what it's inspired by if you're familiar with the OG. However, it's just not what I expected. And I think that's why it kind of bums me out. And I'll go ahead and explain why. So people say it's more of a hybrid. So instead of it just being a direct one-to-one, it's a hybrid of Creed, Millesime, and then the Valentino fragrance kind of mixed, right? So the opening of the Creed and then the dry down of the Valentino. Now, I've never smelled the Creed, but what I do have is this guy right here, Arm Off Milestone, big bottle, right? This is a direct interpretation or inspired by of that Creed fragrance. These to me smell very, very similar. I would say this is more airy and easy to wear. This is more dense, loud, and more of like a beast mode style fragrance. That doesn't make it bad or worse, however, I do get the vibes of Valentino, but it smells more like this, which means for me, it just kind of leans more into that Creed style. Because this right here, this is Arm Off Milestone, it's a salty watermelon. This gives me salty watermelon. And the only evolution that happens with this fragrance is the salt. Like it starts off as like a sweet watermelon, sweet dense watermelon, and then it turns into more of like an airy, salty watermelon. And then the salt will eventually dissipate, and then you're just left with like a watermelon. I can't pick up, so if you look at the notes of this fragrance, all the top notes combined come off to me as watermelon. And this may just be my nose, and maybe it's just a me problem. But there is so much conflict around this fragrance right now because everybody is torn. Half the people are like me, and then half the people, smell other fruits, right? They smell, I pick up on the apple. I get pineapple. I don't get any of that. I just get watermelon. And it's not bad. Like it smells good. It's just not what I expected. So top notes, take all those, that makes up watermelon. That is the entirety of this fragrance. I don't get any of the woods. I don't get any of the vanilla. I don't get anything other than that. Now, I will say the only thing that's slightly off-putting to me is that the watermelon note, and I think because it has a boozy note, it's cognac or something. I think I can sense that in here because the watermelon doesn't just smell like this. Smells more like straightforward watermelon in an airy way, and this smells like an acidic, almost like fruit punch watermelon style. That's the vibe it gives to me. Now, is it a bad fragrance? No, it's not a bad fragrance. I think it smells very, very good. I think it smells designer. It's just, maybe it's because I'm not a fan of fruit punch. Maybe it's because I have to let it sit a while. However, I own many Middle Eastern fragrances, and I know that maturation is a thing. And if you're not familiar with that, it's spraying it like a few times and letting it sit for a couple weeks, sometimes months, depending on if it's a winter or summer fragrance. The amount of evolution that this fragrance would have to do for me to be able to pick up on any of the other notes, I've never experienced that. The only thing that I will change is like some of the harshness will tone down, some of the notes will blend better together. But when I say that, like, based off of the scent, the overall scent doesn't completely change. It just becomes more dense whenever you mature it sometimes. or becomes more clean. So I think that's just what this is. It's not a bad thing. It's just not what I expected. And maybe that's a hot take. I don't know. But if you have any questions, please comment down below and I'll be happy to answer. Thank you for your time.